morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is that you're checking out our podcast. This is Basically Parents, and I'm Jacob Schilproot. Sitting across from me is my beautiful wife,
Evelyn Schilproot.
and this is exciting stuff. This is our first podcast. Not only our first podcast, but our first episode.
Yeah. First episode. Are you excited?
Yeah, honestly, this is so much fun. This is such a cool thing to do.
It's a cool experience, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's exciting. So I figured we could introduce ourselves, talk a little bit about ourselves. Who are we? Why are we doing this? Things like that.
All right, let me go first then. I'm obviously Evelyn Schilproot. I'm a co-host of this beautiful podcast called Basically Parents. I am also a full-time surgical technologist and a full-time mom. Oh, I guess I'm a wife to you as well.
Correct. That is also one of your...
Yeah, we're married.
Yes.
Who are you?
Who am I? I am Jacob Schilproot. I am a surgical technologist as well. I am also a registered nurse in the state of California. I am also a surgical tech instructor and daddy to a baby girl named Maddie.
Our baby girl, Madison.
Yeah. Little MJ.
Well, MJ, she's 9 months old.
9 months old. So pretty much that makes us experts on parenting.
Yeah, we're experts, for sure.
Experts or just two people lost in the sauce?
Just two idiots who decided to have a baby thinking it was a good idea.
It wasn't a bad idea.
Well, it wasn't a good one either.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
Well, you know what they say about mistakes.
You can't take them back?
No, you don't know when you're making them.
It's not a mistake. Don't talk about our baby girl like that.
Listen, I'm not saying that she's a mistake. I'm just saying raising a child is really hard. And we're only like 9 months into this nightmare. This is my nightmare.
It only gets
harder.
More difficult. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So people love to tell us. You know what the other thing that people love to tell us is as well?
What?
It all goes by so fast.
That's true, though. You don't think this has gone by fast?
It has. But I think that when you're like deep in the trenches, time moves by so slow. Like when she was a newborn, God, those 8 weeks sucked.
Yeah. I agree. It's like, in hindsight, it goes by. It was like the drop of a hat, you know what I mean? But at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., when she's screaming and you just trying to sleep for 20 minutes, it feels like an eternity, for sure.
Mm-hmm. You know, I wish I would have seen this TikTok I saw earlier this week when we were newborn parents, because this guy actually had an amazing idea to not get frustrated with your newborn when it's like 3 in the morning and they won't stop crying, and you're just trying to be positive because you're obviously exhausted. He put headphones in and was listening to music and just rocking the baby while the baby was like screaming, but he could barely hear the baby because he was listening to music and he was just so happy.
That's a brilliant idea, but I feel like, I don't know, is that allowed? Is that in the rule book of parenting?
Well, not our rule book.
Well, I mean, he was trying to soothe the child, right? Just not listening to them cry.
Yeah. I mean, because you don't really have to listen to them cry. It's just going to get you frustrated.
Yeah, I guess so. That's reasonable.
It's a smart idea. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But the internet would say, don't do that.
Right. Yeah, you can't let a baby cry.
No. You can't do the cry out method.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know, people do it. I can't do it. I can cry. I can let her cry for like a few minutes, and then I feel too bad. Can't let it happen.
I think when she was a newborn, you really wanted to try out the cry out method, and you were just like, yeah, no, this is not happening. After like 3 minutes of her going insane, you were like, okay, let's go pick her up.
Yeah, it doesn't work, dude, and especially not with like newborns. Maybe like it's something you can do with toddlers or something. Let them have temper tantrums in their room, but a newborn, like it's just like they're just so small and scared, and they just want to be held by mommy
True. Keyword, mommy.
and daddy.
Yeah, they don't know any better.
Just somebody.
There's somebody that's warm.
Yeah, maybe. I think there's some connection there.
Oh, I really don't think so. I don't think she knew the difference until now. I think now that she's 9 months old, I can really see that she knows who we are.
Yeah, that's for sure true. But like there's a biological instinct that connects her to you specifically. The dad's, maybe you're right. Maybe dad has to grow into it a little bit, but there is definitely 100% like there is a biological component that connects her to mommy.
I don't know, maybe call me a bad mom for this, but I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. No.
That's because of that hardcore postpartum D
the,
and not
yeah,
not the good D.
the depression. Correct. Postpartum depression. Damn, that shit just hit me like a truck.
Yeah.
It was so sudden, too.
There's a guy, I don't know his background, forgive me. Um but he is like a wellness scientist, whatever, and he's big on preaching that folate is can cause it causes postpartum depression in certain women. There's like 25% of the population isn't able to metabolize the excess folate that is prescribed for pregnant women, and because of that like imbalance, it gives them a much higher likelihood to develop postpartum depression.
So you mean to tell me that my prenatals potentially gave me postpartum depression?
I'm just saying that according to his research,
It's a thought.
it's
It's something to think
it's
about.
a theory.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
But like medicine in general, everything is like a pros versus cons, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you take these because there's research to support that it um,
And
prevents neural tube defects,
yeah.
but at the same time, maybe one of the side effects is increased risk of postpartum depression in some women.
Well, maybe I was that percent of women.
Maybe. I don't know. I
Yeah.
could do more research and then get back to you on that one.
Yeah, I think you
Maybe
should.
we could get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah. Who is he? I don't even know who. You don't even know who he is.
I do. But I have a strong feeling that a published scientist isn't going to want. Gary Brecka is his name. I don't think Gary Brecka is going to want to come on our kitchen table podcast. It's,
Listen, we can put a pin on this, and maybe on like episode 70.
we can dig into this topic.
Yeah, but
I
not just that. Maybe like by episode, 255.
Yeah, when we're big time podcasters.
Oh yeah, big time.
He can fly over to Austin and do the Joe Rogan experience, and then come over to LA.
Oh my God, he does like
and do
those kinds of podcasts.
Yeah. He's the real deal. He's big time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's never gonna happen. I mean, unless some of the doctors we work with
That's possible.
know him, then we can get like a little connection there.
Or we could just bring doctors we know on.
Oh yeah, that's so true. Oh my God. We work with a lot of intelligent people.
Yeah. I know of one in particular who used to run a podcast, and it wasn't a medicine podcast. It was just like him talking to interesting people. Yeah, and it was really good.
Maybe we should ask him for some advice.
Yeah, I'll talk to him on Friday.
Okay.
He stopped doing it, but one of the ones the ones that he recommended me, he talked to like an ex-Navy SEAL. He got on his
Oh,
podcast, and like they would dove into like discipline and like all of this cool stuff. It was really actually very interesting.
connections, baby.
Yeah.
Connections.
Well, that was a fun little spiel we went there. That's pretty much, I think, the theme of our podcast. I had some questions to lead up to it, but we kind of just dove right in and gave a nice little sample. So I wasn't going to ask you wasn't going to say what to expect on the podcast, because there you have it. We kind of jumped into family and medicine, and we just you know, hit 10 minutes of the goal here.
Yeah.
But I did want to talk about some of your influence in podcasts because obviously this is our first episode. We're brand new to it.
But we love listening to people talk
Right.
other than ourselves.
Sometimes, sometimes I have conversations. I say things when I'm in the car listening to podcasts on what I would say
Oh my God,
if I
me too.
was
I
in
thought
the
I was the only
podcast.
one. I'll be having conversations with like the podcasters. I'll be like, no, why would you say that? And then I'm like, they can't hear me.
Yeah.
Also, this was recorded like probably 2 weeks ago.
Or more.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing when I listen to like After Dark with Dr. Drew when he talks to like no layman's and they like ask him their questions. And I just like I love pausing like in my head and like giving my answer and then playing it out to see if, Drew gives the same or similar advice.
You know what I also like about podcasts is seeing if other people have the same opinions that you do.
Hmm.
Like when they have the same opinions, then you can just relate so much more to that person.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's like the beauty, like one of the best things about podcasts is because they're all like self-promoted and self-made. You get very genuine.
Opinions.
Yeah, you get like a very genuine person on there, right? Because it's not like they have Disney filtering what they can and cannot say, or they,
True,
there's
true.
not like Fox News saying, "Oh no, don't talk about that" type of thing, So
Yeah,
it's
we
like
have an image to protect.
right.
Yeah.
It's just them being them in this like open forum type of thing.
Yeah, whoever was the first person that started this whole thing, I think they should be billionaires because this is a great idea.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool
Yeah,
and it's really fun to do.
it is. It is. It is. I just, I love having conversations with people. Like, even when we're at work and we're just scrubbed into a case and we just get talking about like a topic that's interesting,
Hmm.
you just like go back and forth. And I feel like that was one of the reasons why I wanted to start this.
It was a good idea. It's something that I wanted to do for a long time, honestly, but I was just like, I don't know. I can't do it. I shouldn't do it. But then it's like, why? Why can't I do it?
Yeah, why
Why
not?
shouldn't we?
Who cares?
I'm just so self-conscious.
Of what?
Just rejection on the internet.
Listen, people are going to be mean no matter what.
Yeah.
So, fuck them. They're not paying my bills.
Neither is this.
Neither is this. Exactly. Well, that's the other thing, too. We're just doing it for fun.
Hmm.
So, who cares?
That's what's up.
It's a hobby.
Hmm.
This could be a hobby for us.
It's a great hobby. It's an opportunity to spend some time together, to chit chat.
Yeah. Especially now that we're parents, it's like hard to, get the energy and the time to want to do something.
Right.
You
I
know?
mean, look at us now. We're recording this for, the world out there at like 8:40 at night.
Yeah, usually.
Pre-podcast at 8:40, we're like, fuck this. We're going to bed.
Yeah.
Baby's finding to sleep. Let's go lay quietly in the bed and scroll through TikToks
Next to each
next to
other.
other separately, not talking.
and tell each other to lower the volume. It's too loud. I can't hear my video.
Exactly. You yelling at me for having the TV on too loud, yet your fucking TikToks are louder than the damn TV.
That's marriage, baby.
I know.
Marriage.
I know.
We're going up on 2 years. Are you excited?
Hell yeah.
I know. It's crazy that it's already been 2 years. Doesn't feel like it.
No, it feels like 20.
Oh, God. You're such a drama queen.
Yeah, well, So what are some of your favorite podcasts?
Oh, my God. Are you really going to ask me that question?
Yeah, why not? The world wants to know. Maybe the podcasts that you're fans of, those fans will want to listen to you because you guys have similar interests.
Well, this is the thing about me, though, is that I don't have, like, favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like, I hate when people ask me the question of like, what kind of music do you like to listen to? It's so hard for me to answer that because I like to listen to everything, you know?
Yeah.
Same thing with podcasts. Just anything that interests me. Whatever mood I'm in, like let's just say I'm in the car and I'm like, oh, I want to listen to the news, what's going on around the world. I'll turn on a podcast that, talks about news. If I want to listen to astrophysics, I listen to Star Talk Radio, I think it's called. It's great. You should listen to it.
With who?
Neil
deGrasse,
Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah.
deGrasse Tyson?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's great. He's the man.
He's got a great voice.
Mm-hmm.
Very soothing.
Yeah. Puts you to bed.
Uh-huh. In like 2 minutes. What do you like to listen to? What kind of podcast?
I kind of like similar to your answer. I like to listen to different things, but to be honest, the majority of my podcasts are comedy podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a huge YMH fan. They're a big inspiration. I love. Honestly,
No.
I listen to everything that, pretty much everything that YMH Studios, Your Mom's House puts out. Your Mom's House podcast, Two Bears, One Cave, um, Dr. Drew After Dark. Um, yeah.
So this is my thing about those podcasts.
But I also listen to, not so much anymore now that I've got my license, but before I was listening to several nursing podcasts too. So there was like a balance of like comedy and then like actual educational podcasts, self-help stuff.
Yeah.
But now,
the comedy podcasts are hard for me because I don't love those people enough to listen to every single one of their podcasts. So I'll usually like tune in if they have a really, really good guest,
and
I'll listen to that.
that's how I feel about the Joe Rogan Experience.
I love his podcast. I do. But it's because he has really cool guests most of the time.
That's the thing. Well, they're too long for me. I can't listen to 3-4 hours of podcasting.
Oh my God, it's insane. How does he record 4-hour long?
I don't know. I can picture it. When we sit down, we've done some practices. We did a practice episode the other night. We ran through an hour in like no time. I can say, imagine you got Neil sitting next from you. You don't think you could drum up 3 or 4 hours of interesting conversation with him?
Fuck, dude. I will sit here and talk to him for like a straight week. I'll just keep asking him questions. He's so smart.
Yeah.
Did you know he worked at the Pentagon?
No.
Yeah, he worked at the Pentagon. I mean, like, he's not just some guy on TV doing commercials.
No,
he's an actual
yeah.
scientist,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. The astrophysics stuff, it just doesn't do it for me.
It's weird. I'm just gonna say it's weird. Like, trying to understand our universe is not for...
For what? It's not for everyone.
The faint of heart? What is that saying?
The faint of mind?
The faint
I don't know.
We can edit that out.
No, that's fine. We'll keep that in.
No. We really don't need that.
Okay. So, I think we've covered a lot of good stuff here. We can also touch on the fact that a lot of what we will be talking about is our
job.
Our job, yeah. Our experiences in the operating room, the cool stuff that we've seen.
Yeah.
The interesting cases, interesting people.
Gross things that we've seen.
The gnarly things we've pulled out of people from places that they don't belong.
Yeah. It's just... Why do people do that?
Because it feels so good.
But, like... You know what the best part about it is? That, like, when they do that and they come in, they'll try to, like, say, oh, I slipped.
I slipped and I fell on this 12-inch dildo.
Yeah.
Balls and all.
Okay, buddy. By the looks of it, it looks like you tried pulling it out yourself, so...
No, when I fell, it scraped on the floor, and that's what that's from.
Oh my God, could you imagine how painful that would be?
No, absolutely
not. No, I'm sorry. Whatever rocks your boat, but personally, for me, I think I can die happy without trying that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
We can try.
I'm good.
There's some phallic-shaped things in the kitchen if you want to.
Ugh, God. tie a string to it.
That's what's up. You just as long as you tie a string to it, it's
Hey,
safe.
it's not gonna get lost.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
string won't get eaten up either.
Listen, it's just like rock climbing. As long as you've got a rope on there, you pull it back
No,
out.
it's not the same thing.
Listen, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just trying to preach safety. Okay?
Well, people doing stupid shit also keeps us working.
Hell
So
yeah. Hell yeah.
just don't do it on the weekends when I'm on call, because I really don't want to come in.
Yeah, yeah. Save it for the weekday.
Yeah, save it for the
There's
weekday.
staff there already to take care of
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Then I don't have to come in. I'll just hear about it the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding. No, I won't hear about it because it's a violation. Is it?
Of course. Well, I mean, if they say John Doe came in yesterday, you should have saw what we pulled out of his ass. That's a violation. But if you just hear,
No, people don't usually say patients' names.
no, nobody does. I don't know the names of any of my patients.
No, neither do I. I mean, like, I know the names, like, during the surgery and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But like,
you
once the
forget
case is
immediately.
over, yeah, exactly.
Listen, we don't look at their faces. We don't really know that we check their names once. Like, unfortunately, that's one of the things that you need to be cognizant of, especially working in surgery, is like to not disconnect too much from your patients. But like, yeah, they're just like it's like a
Yeah.
drive-through almost.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's,
I mean, everybody gets individualized treatment, obviously, and we're always putting the care of the patient first.
yeah, it's always the
But there's
patient
like,
first.
but I did a couple surgeries today. I don't remember their names.
Unless you
I
get
just
like a
remember what we
really,
did to them, like what the
yeah.
operation was.
And also, I feel like patients, when they come in, they don't really want to talk to anybody. They're already nervous. So like, you just leave them alone,
Hmm.
let them just kind of try to calm their nerves, give them a little bit of Versed, and they go off to sleep, and they don't even remember you either. So
I remember that was one of the lessons I learned early on in my career. I used to like be super friendly, and when like patients come to the OR, I'd be like, "Oh, good morning. My name's Jacob. I'm gonna be the surgical tech assisting Doctor So and So today." And then I'd be like, "Oh, and how are you?" And after like a handful of people being like, "How am I? I'm here for surgery." I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm just like, "Oh God."
you're
Never
like, shut up, Jacob.
like don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people don't want to talk, They just want to be left alone. Just put me to sleep and just let's get this done and over with.
Yeah, but there's a lot who also
That like to talk.
well, not just that, but small talk can be like
Helpful. Yeah, I agree.
soothing.
Yes, 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 yes. But I think that patients usually initiate that.
Yeah, the talkers will talk. You
Yeah.
don't have to like get the talkers to talk.
Uh-huh.
The people
Uh-huh.
who want that soothing conversation will like ask questions and like, "What's this?
They'll
What
look
are you
around the
doing?"
room and they'll start asking you, "Oh, what's that? Are you
Yeah,
are you going to be using that on me?"
like though, I feel like we get it the most when we do robotic surgery.
Yeah,
The
because of
patients
the robot.
because of the robot. The patients who are coming in for robotic surgery, they love to like, oh, that's the robot, and that's where the surgeon's going to sit, and that's what they're really like that's the one specialty I think that they're or subspecialty I guess that they're like draws particular interest in the
Well, because
patients.
the Da Vinci, I hate to admit this, I really do, because when I first started learning how to scrub robots, I was like a big time hater.
Yeah, yeah, I was too.
Big
In the
time.
beginning, I was not a fan.
But like now that I've got like, I think it's been a few years since I
Hmm.
first started
Hmm.
doing those. I love robots.
Hmm.
Laparoscopic surgery fucking sucks.
Right.
Robots all the way.
It's like Stone Age now compared to robotics.
Yeah, it's cool too though, because like the surgeon doesn't even have to be like scrubbed in to do the surgery. I mean, like they're just sitting in the corner doing surgery.
Yeah.
It also gets the surgeon out of your way, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like you are able to breathe, especially if you're working with like an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
God,
Yeah, it's also like
just mute them on the computer, and you're like, oh, I can't hear this asshole again.
um but in the beginning though, we were the skill and proficiency of the physicians has also come a long way
The
in
learning
the
curve.
learning curve. So now that we're behind that with a lot of the docs, it
It's so much better.
it's better because now it's so much smoother.
Yeah.
New technology always has its hiccups, and so now that we've been able to grow and get past that with the majority of docs, it's so much better, so much better.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. What's your favorite specialty in surgery?
Um,
I know how much you love this question.
it's I get it all the time from my students, honestly. If I have to pick it, it's orthopedics, neuro, and cardiac.
I think you like orthopedics because of one surgeon.
No, that's not true. What I liked about ortho was how hands-on it is. It's one of the few that like you're always really involved. You're always really doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I liked that about it. Also, when I was a student, we call it the carpentry of they're the orthopedic surgeon or the carpenters of surgery. And it's really true. A lot of so much of what we use is like variations of shop tools.
Dude,
And so
but like also geometry is being used.
yeah.
It's insane. You know how people like will say, "When am I ever going to use this shit in life?" Well, if you become an orthopedic surgeon,
Right?
you're going to be using that shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
No. So like I grew up doing that stuff, working in the garage with my dad and stuff. So when I got the opportunity to do it in like a completely different environment, and like these skills that I had developed growing up translated to being efficient in surgery, like I just flourished immediately in orthopedics. And because of that, like I really started to like it. So that's really why I'm a big fan of orthopedics. Um, Neurosurgery, I think neuro is fascinating. In the didactic setting, I always struggled with like studying nerves, and for some reason, like cranial nerves, they just never stuck and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
no,
then like
there's way too many, and they do way too many things.
yeah, so it was something that like I struggled with learning. So when I finally started to get a grasp on that, it felt like an accomplishment. And so like getting to apply that knowledge in the surgical setting, again, like it made me really like it. And then in cardiac is you genuinely feel like you're saving a life. We do a lot of routine surgeries, elective surgeries, things that are not, we're improving patient life, but we're not saving patient life.
Mm-hmm.
Cardiac, we're pretty much saving a life every time.
Yeah,
They might not be dying in that moment, but they're like surely knocking on death's door if these operations don't get done. So
right.
that is like that's a really cool thing to get to experience.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I wanted to learn more cardiac cases
Hmm.
because I just felt like I got to a point in my career that I was just I wouldn't say like bored, but I wasn't challenging myself enough,
Of course, yeah,
you
yeah.
know? And I wanted to challenge myself more and I wanted to feel like I was saving a life, not
Right,
just improving a life, you
right,
know?
right.
And now that I'm in those cases, at the end of the case, you feel good, you know? You're like, wow, we all just did that, you know? Because it's a team effort, you know?
Hmm.
The surgeon ultimately saves a life, but
Hmm.
everybody in that room is working towards a good outcome for the patient.
Right.
And it's very awakening.
Hmm.
Just seeing an open chest and a heart beating right in front of you is something that not a lot of people will ever see.
Exactly. We have a fucking cool job,
Yeah,
and that cool ass job is going to be featured regularly on
this
this
podcast.
podcast.
That's right.
So that being said, I think we got a good place to wrap up. I want to keep this short and sweet for the listeners. Keep them on the edge of their seats,
Yeah.
coming back for more.
Don't forget to like and follow and subscribe, whatever
Oof.
you know, do on these things.
Yeah,
Follow us on Instagram at basically parents.
basically underscore parents.
Yeah, well, Jacob and Evelyn Chilperu will show up, okay?
Yeah. Look out for us on Apple Podcasts as
Mm.
well as Spotify. And somewhere down the line, we're working on getting our YouTube channel up as well.
Don't worry, we'll get on TikTok. I'll make sure to convince my husband.
I'm not a huge TikToker, but
I will
it
put in
is
the work to figure out how to work that goddamn app.
it's probably relevant to what we're doing here. So I think that's a
Thank you
wrap.
for listening and tune in for more.
Thank you guys. We love you. Please come back. Until next time. See you later.
Bye.